Hi there, my name is Toby, and today I want to ask a big question, and that is, has modern science, just become the new religion? Everything today is governed by money. Everything, every university, every project requires funding. And if there are a small group of people that control the finances, well, they control the direction of science. They will select the projects they like, and they will defund the projects they don't like. And then, of course, you've got well-meaning scientists, really true scientists. They believe in what they're doing, but do they really know what they're doing? You see, this is the question. We are assuming that the scientists are true scientists. They are truly open-minded. And I'm going to put it to you today, they are not. They are part of a religion, a belief system. This modern science is a belief system. It's a religion based on materialism. They only believe in the physical world, the manifest world. They don't believe in metaphysics. They don't believe in the soul, the spirit. They don't believe in it. So, but you cannot have a true science without talking about metaphysics. All the older scientists, ancient science, ancient philosophers, they all believed in metaphysics. It's only modern science has dismissed it. That's why it has become a religion, a materialistic atheist religion. And these people believe this standpoint. So all of their science, and they might be genuine, very clever scientists, but they don't realize they are operating from an assumption, a belief, and that belief is there is only this material world. And because you're only looking at the material world, the science that they are doing is only engineering. It's only engineering. It's not philosophy. The older scientists were philosophers also. And so what I'm telling you now is my own ideas, they're my own theories, but they are massive, ancient theories also. My backup is ancient philosophies. And I'm not even going to go into them. I'm going to talk about this from my own logical standpoint, to try and argue my case. So how can this science have become a religion? Well, let's look at it. Let's look at a couple of things. Let's write some equations down. So let's try and explain this. See, you've got the first equation, force equals mass times acceleration. This is Newton's law. Newton's law. Now, in physics, they call this a law. It's a law. It's so well established, nobody can deny this. All the experiments prove this to be true, so they've called it a law. It's a law. But it's still not true. They know it's not true. When you go into so-called quantum, very small, this doesn't work anymore. It's not true. So this is not even a universal law. But for engineering purposes, you can work out all engineering from this. It's only engineering. You see, the trouble is, what is force? What is force? Force is energy. You can think of it as kinetic energy, energy of a physical object. And the physical object here is mass. This is mass. Let's get rid of this. Mass. But what is mass? What is matter? We don't know what it is. We made an assumption. There's a thing. This is a lump of matter. It's mass. It's got a weight. It's got a density. Yeah. But I don't know what that is. I have not defined what is matter. I don't know where mass comes from. So there's no attempt to explain mass, and therefore you can't say what energy is. You can't say what force is. You don't know what that is. These are undefined. These are assumptions. Now, acceleration is a bit more defined. That's a specific thing. So acceleration is not. But mass, we don't know what it is, and therefore force, we don't know what it is. So this is only good for engineering. There's no philosophy here. This does not tell you anything about the universe. Well, let's go to another one. Another famous equation. E equals to mc squared. We all know that. Einstein's theory of relativity. Now this is a theory. It's a theory. What is a theory? Well, a theory is not quite a law. It's not quite a law. It's good enough. It's better than a hypothesis. A hypothesis is just an idea. A theory is a proven hypothesis. But it's still not a law. You see, we don't talk about Einstein's law of relativity. We don't talk about that. They admit it. Well, it's not quite a law. It's just a theory. And again, this still does not tell us anything. This is still just engineering. Mass. We don't know what mass is. We haven't defined mass. Speed of light. Okay, that's like acceleration. That's a fixed number. Yeah. What is the speed of light? We can't really talk about it because we don't know what light is. We haven't defined what light actually is. But we know there's a speed in a vacuum. Let's call it a speed. So that's fine. Mass we haven't defined, and energy we haven't defined. What is energy? Same problem here. Force, energy. What is it? We haven't defined energy. We haven't defined mass. So this is just engineering. This does not tell you anything about the nature of the universe. It's just a theory. And what are these? These are mathematical models. This is a mathematical model. Newton created this mathematics to try and represent a physical phenomena. It's not the physical phenomena, it's only an idea, a mathematical idea that represents a physical phenomena, and it's so good we can call it a law. This is another one, an idea, a mathematical model that is trying to represent a phenomena. But it's not even good enough to call it a law, it's only a theory. And you should know that Einstein was not all he was cracked up to be. Einstein copied a lot of his work from another physicist called Henri Poincaré, a French physicist. So Einstein wasn't what he's cracked up to be. And there's another theory that says that Einstein was brought in, again, by the establishment to discredit older physics. Because the older physics was ether physics. Ether. You see, there's ether. And that's what I'm talking about, the ether. It's a totally different idea about the universe. Totally different. This includes metaphysics. This one does not. This is just engineering. It's not philosophy. There's no answers here. And like I said, this is Einstein's special relativity. You've got another one, general relativity, which to do with gravity. We won't go into that. Much more equations. And then let's give you a third equation. So you most know this. This one you probably won't know. Some people will know this. But this is equation here. This is called, this is h hat. Well, this is called the Hamiltonian. This is psi, a wave function. This is energy again. And this is psi. This is Schrödinger's equation. So this is an equation. And you could argue this is the fundamental equation of quantum mechanics. So here we've got Newton's mechanics, which works on the big world. It doesn't work when you go small. Here you've got Einstein's relativity. So here we're just talking about physical energy. Now Einstein is connecting energy and matter. There's somehow energy and matter are interchangeable. But you can't really say anything about it because you haven't defined what matter is and you haven't defined what energy is. There's no definition to this. And now we've got Schrödinger's equation. This is just a mathematical equation. And this equation is trying to say, this is based on the idea that matter is a particle and it's a wave. It's both a wave and a particle. So if you want to look at this is a particle. And this is energy, a wave, but he's not really talking about it. Here we're talking about it. But you see, you haven't defined what a matter is, so you have not defined what a particle is, and you have not defined what energy is, so you have not defined what a wave is either. So this is just an equation. But it's a mathematical model trying to describe or represent a phenomena. And they don't even call it a theory. There's no theory of quantum mechanics. We can't even say who is the inventor. Who invented quantum mechanics? There's so many of them. Heisenberg, Schrödinger, we don't know who invented it. So there's no Einstein's theory of relativity. There's no Schrödinger's theory of quantum. It's just equation. This is just an equation. It has not even been promoted to a theory, let alone become a law. So you can't call this a theory, and you certainly can't call it a law. It's just mathematics. It's just mathematics. It's a mathematical model. And now what you've got, you see, so all modern science is built upon these equations. This one they don't do much now. They're more like this one. This is quantum mechanics. But quantum mechanics is, it's really a cult. If you want to learn more about ether physics and quantum mechanics, you've got to go and watch this guy, Ken Wheeler. I'm going to talk more about him in a minute. But he goes into great detail, and he calls it the cult of quantum. The cult of quantum. Because the whole thing is based on assumptions. It's based on ideas. And they're very, very fanciful, crazy, mad as a hatter, crazy ideas. But we all believe them. We think this comes from logical, serious-minded, true scientists. It doesn't. It doesn't. It comes from an assumption. And it's a false assumption. You see, you cannot say light is a particle and a wave. Again, you haven't defined a particle. What is matter? And that's a big problem. But you can't even say it's a wave, because a wave is not a thing. You can't have a wave. A wave is an action. It's what something does. It's not what something is, it's what something does. The water is waving. So if you're going to call light a wave, you have to say, well, what is waving? What is the wave in? Well, the wave is in the ether. But they can't talk about the ether. So you've dismissed the ether. You've dismissed the ether as nonsense. So the people that believe in ether, they laugh at us. They think, these guys are just believing in fanciful rubbish. Metaphysics, it's religion. No, it's not. You haven't given it a chance. This is serious, logical science. In fact, it's far more serious, far more logical. There is deductive reasoning behind this than quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is highly elaborate nonsense. Look, let me take you another way. Let's go a bit further with this. So here's three simple equations. But from this force equals mass times acceleration, there's loads of other equations. So you can work out engineering from there. Same with this. Einstein's got other equations, and there's more and more and more of them. But the trouble is, there's always more. You see, there's more and more equations, more and more equations. And then it's a model. They're trying to describe a phenomena. But each one of these equations, gets a bit closer, but it's not perfect. You need another set, more and more and more equations. They get more and more and more. And they're getting more and more, so more. And you see scientists that come in, they're coming in at this level here. They're working on these difficult equations. Now, quantum mechanics is even worse. There's loads of equations, different versions of Schrödinger's equation. Loads of different ones. Everyone's got a new theory, a new equation. And then they go to next level, more and more equations. Now we're going into multi-dimensions. We've got equations now, I think there's 11 dimensions. So now we think, there's in multiple dimensions. No, it's mathematics. 11 dimensions are mathematical constructs. They need to create more dimensions in the equations to try to make them work. So we're getting further and further, more and more. This is getting more and more complicated. And this is going down into pure mathematics. It's a cult of mathematics. It's just going round and round and round and round, getting more and more complicated. Now, if your science is getting more and more complicated, something is going wrong. This should be becoming simpler. This should be one equation. And they do want it. They want the grand unified field theory, which means it should all get simplified, but it's not. And every equation gets more fantastical. They have to invent new things. Virtual particles. You haven't defined what a particle is. You haven't even defined what matter is. Now you're talking about antimatter and virtual particles. You haven't defined a particle. You most certainly have not defined a virtual particle. A virtual particle, you can have no experiments. There's no proof of that. Dark matter, they talk about dark matter. There's no proof of that. You can't see it, you can't detect it. But there's dark matter. Dark energy, they talk about dark energy. What's that? Well, we don't know. Can you see it? No. Can you detect it? No. But it's there. It has to be. Somewhere in all these equations, we have to create dark matter. Now, if someone on YouTube, someone comes up with a crazy idea, dark matter, we'd all laugh at them. You're a crazy conspiratorial idiot. No, but modern science comes up with dark matter, virtual particles. Oh, yeah, that's true. What do you mean that's true? Listen, there is a thing called Occam's razor. Occam's razor. This is a principle in science. It means the simplest, most elegant solution is usually the correct one. When you're getting more complicated, more detailed, more confusing, you're going against Occam's razor. Something's gone wrong. You see, the grand unified field theory will be Occam's razor. Not all this madness. You see, this is now a cult of mathematics. Very clever people. But they believe it, you see. They've taken these things for granted. They've gone to this level of equations, this level of equations. Now the top people are in very high level maths. Very high level detailed mathematics. They're not even going back to think about this anymore. They're not even thinking about this. By the way, I was here. I nearly did a PhD in theoretical physics. I say nearly because that's meaningless. I know it's meaningless. But I didn't want to do it. I had a guaranteed PhD in particle physics, but I didn't want to do it. It was so boring. It's just statistical analysis. Just mathematics over here. There's no real thinking about the universe. So, you know, if you're a new scientist, clever person, you come in at this level, you've taken all this for granted. There's only a few top professors, and they're mainstream professors that are trying to go here. But they still have not acknowledged the ether. They still got to think about the ether. The ether is a far more logical model of the universe. And I'm going to talk about this more. I'm going to do another series on ether physics this year. I don't know how and when I'm going to start it, but stay tuned, it's coming. But for now, I've already done a series called Magical Science. You can watch that series and I explain ether physics, introduce it. Or my theories of ether physics. But they are logical. It's true science. It's deduction, deductive reasoning, observation, but observation of metaphysics. The mind, the soul, the spirit, consciousness must be included. And there are serious philosophers that talk about this. There's a thing called the cosmological anthropic principle. So again, serious physicists, scientists talk about that. It means the universe can only exist if we are here to see it, to experience it. In other words, the universe only exists because consciousness is here to experience it. That's serious philosophy. We need that. There's no metaphysics here. This is all just engineering. And this one is crazy engineering now. And it doesn't work, you see. That's why it goes more and more detail. Now, what is the simple equation? I do have an equation for you. This is the one. So I'm one of the few people in the world to know the answer. It's not my answer. This answer comes from Ken Wheeler. Ken Wheeler is the guy to discover this. And it is this, 1 over phi to the power -3. This is the grand unified field theory. It's not even an equation. It's a statement. It's a mathematical statement. But the phi, the Greek letter phi, this is the golden ratio. It's a number, 1.61 something, something, something. So this will boil down to a number. It's 4.2 something, something, something. But it's not the number, it's the expression. You see, 1 and phi, these are two expressions, very important mathematics. This goes back to Pythagoras. So Ken Wheeler is not the inventor of this. He's recently rediscovered it in Pythagoras' writings. It's in Plato, I can't remember. But it's ancient. This is going to be timeless mathematics. It's going to be known throughout all time. And this is describing the connection between the metaphysical and the physical. There's a lot of philosophy here. But it's also golden ratio we now know also connects directly to the electromagnetic force, the field. The ratio between the electric or the dielectric and the magnetic is connected by this number phi, golden ratio. It's fundamental in the very field, the electromagnetic field itself. So this I call the grand unified field theory. And this is simple. And I've got an even simpler one. Whoops. My simplest one is just phi. That's mine. My grand unified field theory is phi. The golden ratio itself. That's it. That's the most important number in the universe. That's the one we've got to think about. This is the number that governs living things, growth. So this also connects to life. Not just physical engineering, it connects to living engineering. So totally different, but serious science. And I'll have to come and explain this to you with logic, step by step. So bear with me on that. But the point I'm trying to make here is all this work is getting more and more complicated. And it's like they're digging themselves a hole. And it's getting deeper and deeper into the hole. And now it's belief. Now this is just dogma. You know, if anyone up here, you'll have an argument with them, they'll just go backwards. Yeah, but that theory. Yeah, but that theory. Yeah, forget about that. Let's go back. None of these theories tell you anything about the universe. This is just engineering. And now we're going into very crazy engineering. Now we think we're talking about the universe. You're not. It still all evolves from this. And this all evolves from materialism. The irony is Newton was studying metaphysics. They all were. They were all interested in metaphysics, philosophy. But I don't think about that. We just think about that for Newton. So modern science is really become a religion, a dogma. And quantum mechanics, you can think of it as an echo chamber. They're all just echoing their own theories back to each other. One equation means to the next equation, to the next equation. And then some of the equations get a result. Oh, look, I got a result on one of these equations. It must be true. No, it's a mathematical model trying to represent a real phenomena. The universe is going to do what it's going to do anyway. And I put it to you, the universe is simple. It's beautiful. It's elegant. It follows Occam's razor. It has to. And if you want to understand the universe, the science will be simplified. Not go into complex madness. Simplified. This is simple. Simplified. This is simple. Now again, to turn this into engineering is another thing, but this is field theory. Here's the fundamental difference. This is materialism based on matter, particles. But you don't know what that is. You haven't defined what matter is. That's a big philosophical question. The ether is fluid. It's pure fluid. It's not material. It's not a particle. It's pure fluid. So now that's a different science, a different engineering. That's field theory. We need field theory mathematics. It's slightly different. And then you've got to come at the whole thing from a new angle. Start again. It requires serious people to think about this. But the serious-minded people, they're all co-opted. They're all co-opted by the establishment. Oh, I've got a professorship. Oh, I've got a PhD. I've got a Nobel Prize. Who gives out the Nobel Prize? The same people that create the money. The same people that run the bank. They're the ones that like it. And these guys like materialism. They want us to be materialistic. So they will promote all science that is materialistic. They will not promote science that is esoteric, that is metaphysical. They don't like that. They will deny the existence of the soul spirit. This one does not. This one includes the existence of the soul spirit. Very different. Tesla believed in the ether. He's the most famous one. But they all did. All these top guys. Maxwell, Steinmetz, Heaviside, J.J. Thomson, all these top guys that built the electronics we've got now, they all believed in the ether. They all had slightly different ideas about it, but they all believed in it. It's still a theory, but it's a much better theory than any of these. Much better. It's much closer to reality. These are not close to reality. This is a mathematical model trying to emulate reality, and now it's gone down this crazy path of mathematics. It's the cult of mathematics. And because mathematics is so difficult, we all think, oh, I can't understand it. It must be true. No. The top quantum physicists will admit we do not understand quantum mechanics. The deeper we go, the less we understand it. Well, that's going against Occam's razor. That tells you it all. Stop it. Come out of the hole and let's have a look at a holistic science. Let's look again. So I hope this little talk made sense. It's a difficult one because, again, it's so well established, and it's established because engineering is proven. See, I'm not denying these equations. Well, this one I'm denying. Even this one I'm denying as well. But this one is, we can't deny that. Okay, we can't deny this. There's better versions of these, again, because you've got to think in terms of field theory. But these work to a degree. They work to a degree. So they use them. Okay? But they have to have more, because they don't work enough. They don't work enough. They're an incomplete model. Let's sum it up. Science we've got is working on a model, a mathematical model of the universe. And that model is fundamentally flawed because it is based on materialism. And you can only ever get so far. And that's why it's getting deeper, more complicated, crazier and crazier. There is another technology that's worked on another model, and that is the AETHER model, pure fluid. It includes metaphysics. It will allow for other things like free energy. This model does not allow free energy. This one does. So which one is true? Well, I think there is evidence of free energy. There is evidence of it. Most notable evidence is these UFOs. There are some very good footage now. There's military footage of a UFO where you can see the corona of the magnetic field around it. That implies an extraordinarily powerful magnetic field. And the only way you can get a magnetic field that powerful is with a free energy machine. There is no physics we've got that could create that power. That's why it's always alien technology. So if you're going to believe in alien technology is closer to reality. It'll be closer to this one. If you talk to an alien, you tell them about fire, oh yeah. You tell them about this, they will laugh. They will laugh at you. An alien, oh yeah, the wave function and the particle, they will laugh. But you tell them that, now okay, I understand that. So again, this is my argument, my personal argument. This is what I believe, but there is a logic to it. I have gone through a logical deductive process, and I hope to take you through it on this channel. And it's important to me because this is the life force energy. It connects to my physical training as well. My physical training, the experience of the energy is also the same science, the same technology. This body is technology, organic technology. This will explain it. This doesn't explain it so well. This, you see? Anyway, I hope this little talk made sense. Thank you so much for your time and listening to me. Please leave any questions or comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.